I'm encouraging a lot of my brothers and sisters when it comes to the healing and freedom journey and experiencing greater mental, emotional, and relationship health. We got to learn to slow down. And it is so incredibly important to the life of our heart, but why don't we do it? And today what I want to talk about is 10 reasons why we don't slow down. Because we need to. It's an internal thing. It's not just the pace of life or how many things you do in a day or how fast you drive. It's about the internal pace of what's going on inside, right? There's a big difference when we have an internal world that's going at a slower pace where we're walking each day. You know, what's the pace of life we should walk at? Well, Jesus walked. And we need to learn how to walk, but there's a war and a resistance. So I want to give you 10 reasons to maybe get to the heart of why you struggle with it. One of them is that the culture of the world around us lives in high-speed, busy living. It's constantly hitting you. You're just hit with a barrage of conditioning. It's like a hypnosis we get under to just keep going, keep going, keep going. So then it becomes hard to disconnect from it because if you're not aware and you're not becoming more intentional, you get sucked into the flow of what everyone's doing and you feel like that's what you're supposed to be doing and you should be doing something just to do something. So churches get busy, businesses are always busy, families are constantly busy, and it just pulls at us. We know there's something better, but there's that world conditioning that keeps hitting us. The second reason is high-speed busy living is seen as a badge of honor. It's a way that we relate to each other. You know, what are you doing? Oh, just busy, right? Now, I'm not beating anybody up who said that. I've said it. We've all said it. I'm just helping us become more aware of how we relate to each other and how we relate to our world. I'm just busy. And we have this underlying thing that says, if I don't stay busy, problems are going to happen. You know, something bad's going to happen. If I I'm going to get into some of those fears in just a second, but we relate to each other, right? And the more busy we are, oh, he's so busy. She's so busy. And I think that we need to be aware of the words of Jesus when he was with Mary and Martha and saying, you know what? Mary's sitting down and being present. She's slowing down and being in the moment. And we need to learn from that. Not that what Martha was doing was bad, but we need to learn to be present in the moment, to be aware of the greater thing that's available for our journey. The third reason is that for many people, slowing down to you and your thinking, it means you're lazy. Other people that take their time, they're lazy. They're just, you know, they don't have it. And my challenge to you today, I want to challenge this statement. And I want to say this, and I want you to think about it for a little bit. Being busy is actually easy. Being constantly busy and going at high speed is easy. It's harder to pause, to slow down. It's harder. I argue that it's harder to actually live a more slow pace life because it means that you have to actually resist the movement of so many others that are pushing, going, demanding, achieving, going, but it's never enough. It takes more intentionality to move against that grain. The fourth reason why we don't slow down is many think slowing down means you're going to be less effective or you're going to do nothing. We can go black and white. And I said in a previous video that actually slowing down will make you more effective. You have better energy, better clarity. And so people who are chronic, busy, high-speed living people, they get sucked under this mindset that says, if I'm going to slow down, then I'm going to get into a place where I'm going to be less effective. The antidote to busy living is not sitting in front of the TV all day and you're doing nothing. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about slowing down and getting down to a different pace of your life and your journey. The fifth reason is that we're very performance driven. It's been conditioned that who we are is what we do. And unfortunately, that's how we seek to feel loved and fulfilled. It's how we find belonging. In many circles of relationship, if you don't have something you perform in and do really well, you don't have a sense of belonging. And then you feel like you don't belong because you're not good enough in those areas. It's a dangerous trap. And I talk about the danger of performance-driven living because it's certainly found in the church as well as in the world. And it's something we need to be aware of to get free from, because that when we slow down, we actually start to face ourselves, and it gives us an opportunity to learn a new identity as sons and daughters of God and not as doers. And this busy living doesn't give us the chance to recalibrate our identity. We get lost and we give ourselves over to this constant daily grind. 6, many of you are going to relate to this. We feel guilty for not doing more. When you slow down, many people admit they start to feel guilt that they're not doing more. They're not involved in more. There's something I should be doing that I'm not doing. I have session after session with people, even emails. People are feeling this distorted feeling in their heart. I should be doing something right now. And I'm not. I should be doing something for God. I should be doing more for people. I should be. It's just guilt. And they don't realize that guilt has been leading them down unhealthy pathways. And what they need to do is give space for the slowing down, to get to know what it's like to relate to God, not out of guilt, but out of his grace and love. 7, quite honestly, we're addicted to the rush of chronic busyness. We're addicted to the rush. So when you slow down, what you're experiencing is withdrawal symptoms that tell you, get out of this. It might use some fear, might use some guilt, maybe some religious guilt. Come on, you should be doing more. Now let's get to the fear reasons. Number 8 is we're afraid of God. If we slow down and get quiet in ourselves and be more mindful and just pay attention and be more relational, we're afraid of God. We feel like if we slow down, we're going to feel his disappointment, his anger, because many people have a punishment-based relationship with God. And so they don't want to slow down or have a quiet time or even spend time just connecting with God because it's just frightening. They have a distorted image of who he is, so they avoid him. 9, we're afraid of facing ourselves. I have found in my journey of helping people over the years is that a very core place of brokenness in our lives is we have a poor relationship with ourselves. The brokenness in our life has caused us to turn against ourselves. We become our own worst enemy. We've actually become separated from ourselves. We're disconnected. We avoid ourselves. We hate on ourselves. We condemn ourselves. We live in contempt in how we see ourselves. So quite honestly, no one wants to slow down because no one wants to face themselves. Because when we do, we face ourselves in anger, disappointment, and even hate. We don't know how to look at ourselves with love. And part of the restoration process in your life is slowing down so that you learn to have a better, more loving, compassionate relationship with yourself. God does not want you to be divided within yourself, but to be able to see yourself through the love and the grace that he has towards you. Last but definitely not least, we're just simply afraid of dealing with pain and emptiness, so we avoid it. We are a culture that responds to all pain and brokenness by just keep going and keep going fast and keep it busy. We avoid the pain. We avoid the brokenness. And a lot of it comes down to the reality that we don't have any tools how to be able to deal with these things. Do you know how to deal with your emotions? Do you know how to think about a loss in your life that you know is affecting you in the present, but you don't know how to deal with it? Regrets that you have, or pain points, or aspects of neglect, or you're becoming aware of things in your life. Do you have tools in knowing how to be able to process through it? Most of us, the answer is no. So we find it just better to just shove all that stuff down. But many times in our busyness, we find the pain becomes unmanageable. That we can't manage the pain and manage the symptoms that are arising and continue in our busy life. And so what usually happens is life starts to speak to us that something's got to change. And I pray for many of us, that's an invitation where God is saying, I want you to slow down Get into my rhythm of relationship. Slowing down is the rhythm of relationship connection, because relation takes patience. It takes time. It takes awareness. It's a slower speed. And I'm praying that in the midst of many of your hearts in your journey, you'll have the courage to say, you know what? I'm going to slow down within here. I'm just going to bring the RPMs down a bit and allow myself to experience God, because I'm realizing I have a punishment-based relationship with him. And I got to learn who he is as a father in his love. I need to learn how to see myself in the lens of love, because I haven't seen myself that way. Everything I've shared here in today's Reasons We Don't Slow Down is things I've experienced in my own life. So if you relate to any of them, then I can relate to you and you can relate to me, because I certainly relate to aspects of all 10 of these. But what you can do today is make a decision to say, I want to move in a new direction. I want to begin to slow down my life and my journey. And if that's you, you can actually make that decision right now. If this resource has been a blessing to your life and your journey, you can go to markdejesus.com. You can click on the donate button. There's many other resources. I just want to continue to encourage you into living a more healed and free life. I'm your brother from another mother, and I enjoy being able to provide materials to encourage that in your life and your journey. So, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, I'll continue on this and some other angles, and we'll just take one step after the other and continue this journey together. So go ahead and slow down. It's all right. You're loved. And when you see the beauty found in that slower living, you're going to experience some good stuff. So until next time, I'm out.